Is the Harpersville School Board playing by the state's rules or their own? And southern tiered towns want out of New York. Action News at 11 starts right after tonight's Powerball. Good evening, I'm Dave Graber. We begin tonight in Harpersville, where a controversial letter sent out by the district superintendent has drawn the ire of district parents and left them wondering if they're being left out of decisions they believe should be made in open meetings under scrutiny of the public. Our Josh Martin joins us in the studio with an explanation. Josh.
Dave, Superintendent Kathleen Wood sent this letter to parents in Harpersville on January 30th, which stated she, along with the school board, had begun to reorganize the district's administrative team. The letter states the board has already made the decision to vacate an assistant principal position in the elementary school and reassign a current elementary school principal. But by making this decision without a public vote or documentation, this action would violate New York's open meetings laws. I spoke with Wood today, and she had the school's attorney present, and she said the contents of the letter were a mistake and admitted parents could have felt misled.
In my desire to get information to the public as soon as possible, I had a very poor choice of words. Next time, I think I better have the school attorney go through my document so I don't put my foot in my mouth again.
The word Wood says she should have used was the word discussion. She says nothing has been finalized, and the Board of Education will hold a vote on this issue this coming Monday, February 23rd. Wood is encouraging all members of the district to attend and give their thoughts and opinions on these proposed changes. But the story doesn't necessarily end there. Parents say this is just a part of a larger issue of transparency with the superintendent and the board. We'll continue to cover this story, including full coverage of Monday's meeting.
All right, Josh, thanks very much. The local economy is pushing one organization in upstate New York to pose a question. Is it possible to secede to Pennsylvania? The Upstate New York Towns Association is doing the research on this topic before any actual proposal is established. According to the plan, as it stands now, 15 towns in the southern tier, spanning Sullivan, Delaware, Broome, and Tiger counties, would become towns in Pennsylvania, all in an effort to reap the benefits of natural gas drilling.
What we're trying to do is just get some recognition to bring this thing to a boil head again and say, you're depriving us up here of work, jobs, income, and put the southern tier back on the map where everybody can survive. Okay.
It's important to note, though, that this plan is still in its earliest stages. Right now, the association is comparing taxes and the cost of doing business in both states. They're also comparing things like workers' comp, surcharges, unemployment, and health insurance. Their understanding is that the secession would have to be approved by the New York State Legislature, the Pennsylvania State Legislature, and the U.S. government. There is currently no federal law that requires home sellers and landlords to alert buyers and renters if a house was once used as a meth lab. U.S. Senator Charles Schumer wants a federal law to change that. Johnson City was his last stop on a statewide tour announcing this proposed law. It would require landlords to inform potential buyers of houses, just like the one you're seeing right there, whose past includes a meth lab. It would also create a civil penalty for those who knowingly fail to disclose that information.
The chemicals that are used to make meth are poisonous, sometimes deadly, and they can lodge in carpets, in cracks in walls, in curtains, and on the grounds, because a lot of the people who make the meth throw the remnants, the chemical remnants, out into their backyards or into their front yards.
23 states across the nation have enacted similar laws to the one that Schumer is proposing, so he expects his federal law to be accepted and passed within the next several months. Well, two people who could say they knew Michelle Harris best took the stand today at Schoharie County Court. It's on the 14th day of the Cal Harris murder trial. Shannon Taylor, Michelle's sister-in-law, broke down when District Attorney Kirk Martin asked about Michelle's relationship with her kids. With a cracked voice, she said that Michelle was a great mom and was an active mom. Taylor recalled a phone conversation where she could hear Michelle and Cal Harris yelling at each other. Taylor said that Michelle tried to leave the house, but that Cal had blocked her in the garage with his car. Taylor said then she called the family nanny, Barbara Thayer, to come over and check on the two shortly after Michelle was able to leave the house. Cross-examination on Taylor will begin tomorrow morning in Schoharie County Court. Earlier in the day, Nicole Burdick, a close friend of Michelle's, took the stand. Burdick says that she always called Michelle on the Harris home phone in the morning because Michelle was always home. Well, that is until September 12, 2001, when the nanny answered the phone instead. Burdick says that's when she knew something was wrong. She says that starting in August of 2001, the two went out a couple of times a week. Defense attorneys tried to paint Michelle during cross-examination in a different light, insinuating that Michelle drove drunk multiple times because Burdick said they would have 4 to 5 beers in 2 to 4 hours when they were out together. A homeowner in the town of Shenango was able to return home tonight after a chimney fire this afternoon forced him out. Now, the owner was heating his house using his fireplace at 6989 Route 79. And fire officials say the chimney ignited. Flames then spread to the wall and then up into the second floor. It took the Shenango Forks Fire Company about 30 minutes to extinguish the flames. Now, if you also heat your home with a wood stove or fireplace, the Shenango Forks Fire Chief has a reminder for you.
Keep your chimney clean, keep it up to date, make sure it's a nice strong chimney.
The fire department poured the same chemical found in fire extinguishers down the chimney to make sure that the fire was completely out. There were no injuries from this fire. Most of the damage was contained to the chimney and the area immediately surrounding it. The Little Meadows Fire Department will break ground on a new firehouse this spring. Those involved say it wouldn't be possible without the help of a large grant from an energy company. The Volunteer Fire Company and Rescue Squad has been based out of the same facility for nearly 60 years. Volunteers say they need a larger, more up-to-date station with accessibility for people with disabilities. Construction of the 3-bay facility is on Route 858. It's slated to begin this May. Now, they wouldn't have been able to start this soon had it not been for a grant from Talisman Energy.
When we went to Talisman and asked them for their support, we were really hoping big but expecting small, and they really came through for us with a total of $350,000.
In addition to the grant, fundraisers and assistance from local municipalities have helped to cover the cost of this $825,000 project. Building committee members hope to complete the project this year.
I'm warning you at home, this video you're going to see from the Marabido live weather cam in Oneonta is going to break the wicked cool barrier. Check it out. You can see over the last little bit. Watch the sky get white with the snow moving in aloft, and then boom, right at the surface you get that snow squall moving through right now. Oneonta, you are one of the locations that's seeing the worst of this snow right at this time. It's moving east, away from Binghamton. We do still have some more weather to talk about behind this system. Much colder air coming in. The winds are going to pick up tomorrow. We're talking wind chills 15 to 25 degrees below zero. Wind chill advisory from 4 a.m. Thursday through 7 p.m. Thursday. Details on the rest of your forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Howard, thanks. So to come here on Action News.
Not even in Niagara Falls I have seen this.
A building entirely frozen. Find out how it exactly got this way when Action News at 11 returns. Well, it's another bitter cold night across much of the eastern half of the nation, and it's not getting any warmer anytime soon. Snow, ice, sub-zero temperatures stretching as far south as Florida, believe it or not. In Tennessee, frozen tree limbs threaten power lines, but planes are flying again thanks to a refill of de-icing fluid at Nashville's airport. Meanwhile, northern states are no warmer. NASA photo that you're about to see shows the Great Lakes almost completely iced over. Also, in Boston, a roof gave out after weeks of record-breaking snow. But some people are doing what they can to endure the wintry blast.
I have found one good use for these lab goggles. It helps windshield. It's pretty windy right now and pretty cold, but you got to do what works.
And relief, unfortunately, not in the forecast. Not in the forecast for many people. Spring is still more than 4 weeks away. Meanwhile, the bitter cold completely encased a building in ice. This doctor's office in West Philadelphia went up in flames Monday morning. Now, water used by firefighters quickly froze everything into just an enormous block of ice. And the weight is now taking a toll on the building. The building is now deemed in danger of collapsing because of the ice.
Right now, there's really only the structure holding up, and there's nothing on top to kind of bind it together.
Public safety officials say the building's owner has obtained a contractor for demolition. They say the job will be a slow and meticulous one. Only with one business impacted from the demolition, the neighboring buildings, thankfully, were vacant.
Just to show you how nasty this snow squall is right now, or what it was about 2 hours ago, take a look at this video I shot just outside the studio here about 2 hours ago. This was shot with my cell phone, and you can hear the wind whipping there, and also you can see the visibility down to under 150 feet or so, and again, visibility near zero. This storm, or this line of snow, is moving eastward. I'll talk about where it's going and what you can expect for the rest of your night coming up in just a few minutes.